Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back to another live stream. Hope you guys are doing all right out there. Um, again, thank you so much for joining me tonight. As you know, we usually like to do our live streams a lot earlier in the day, but I have a lot of things going on this week, and so, well, we're coming in a little later than usual. Doing a little late night stream for some of you guys. Some of you guys a late afternoon stream. Either way, we're here and we're ready to rock and roll. And today, again, we're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff, but as you know, we're also going to be taking questions. So if there's anyone out there that has any questions, you guys already know, ask away, and I will try to answer them as best as I can. Also, again, you know how we like to do here before we get started. We like to give it a few minutes so everybody can get their notifications and join us before we really get into it. But yeah, again, guys, if you have any questions, please feel free. We're doing a live Q&A today. Also, a little programming note, which I'll talk about again later. But I'm not going to be around next week, all right, because I have family visiting next week, so I'm going to be busy with family, so I'm not going to be around doing a live stream next week, but I will have a video to upload. Okay, so I'll have a video up, something to keep you guys entertained while I'm away. But anywho's, on my other channel, I'm going to be uploading videos as usual. So again, don't worry there. We're not going to miss a beat. We're going to get all the videos going. But yeah, just a FYI, no live stream next week. But with that being said, today, the reason I chose this topic, which again, I talk about this all the time, and especially these days. I talk about this these days a lot more than I used to back in the day. But either way, something I'm always talking about, which is, again, you got to move to Mexico before it's too late. And at this point, it's almost like I'm beating a dead horse here. Hey, what are you? Hey, sorry, I forgot about Lambo back there. My apologies. I was actually out earlier today filming some videos for you guys. With José Novelo, we got some more house tours coming your way. So yeah, my apologies. I forgot he was around. I see what you're doing. You make jokes about horses behind my back. Anyways, my apologies. Anyway, so shout out to everyone out there. We got Toyhead, we got Sammy, we got Yaz, we got Rad News, we got Typical Canadian Creates, and everyone else out there. I know we got a bunch of you guys out there just listening and hanging out and or watching later on. But anywho's, so the reason I'm really talking about this more than ever right now is just because very recently I've been doing a lot of consultations. Like in the last month or two. Basically since the whole scenario out there in the Middle East started, things have just been getting from bad to worse from my understanding over there in the USA. And so, yeah, I've been getting a lot more consultations. But by the way, for anyone that doesn't know, if you guys want to talk to me, personal one-on-one consultation, you can just go to my website for more information. And, I can answer all your questions and let you know about whatever it is you need to know about moving to Mexico. But anywho's, with that being said, yeah, I've been getting a lot of, new viewers, new consultations. And, yeah, at the end of the day, everyone is just, in a sense, kind of seeing the writing on the wall, seeing that things are just, just again, going from bad to worse day to day. And, out here, it's, living in Mexico, for example, it's like, I don't, my day to day is basically the same, all things considered, compared to what's going on back over where you're at. So, we got Ms. Linda Allen asking, does José Novelo help with purchase of a house in Lake Chapala? Thank you. Have a great day. Always good to see you. Not that I know of. I don't think he, goes outside of the region of the Yucatan. Just for I think obvious reasons. And you know what? These days, no, because from my understanding, not from my understanding. From the last few interactions I've had with José Novelo, he's been talking about the new licenses. Yeah, you know what? That's a great topic. Let's thank you, Ms. Linda Allen, for asking. By the way, the answer is no, and I'm going to explain why no. Because very recently, since last year, I believe, the Mexican government on a federal level has stated that from now on everybody has to be certified. Every realtor, so anyone that sells real estate, is in the real estate business, well, they have to be certified. Well, guess what? Just like in the USA, Canada, and other places. Because for some of you guys that are aware of, some of you guys don't know, up until very recently, it's been a super duper free for all when it came to real estate, meaning anyone and everyone was a real estate agent. It was a running joke, where everyone was a real estate agent trying to just get in on the whole boom. And obviously there's been a lot of fraud and been a lot of just bad deals and all kinds of stuff, so the government has had to step in, on a national level. And so but on top of that, now on a state level, each and every state in Mexico is now also requiring, from my understanding, also certification, document, license. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. A license. By the way, remember, it's a little late in the day already. My apologies, if I'm a little off today, because again, I've been filming all day. I've already done a bunch of videos because since my family's coming to visit next week, I'm trying to get ready for you guys. We're getting ready to make sure you guys have all the videos as usual, even though I'm not going to be around. But anyways, with that being said, so that's a thing now. So Jose Novelo and the people that work with him, they're all getting their Yucatan state licensing, from and I don't know if there other states are requiring the licenses yet or not. By the way, I don't know, hopefully you guys are getting hopefully the internet's coming in good. Hopefully there's not too many interruptions. My apologies. Let me know if we're having any hiccups, with the internet. My apologies there. I don't know why. Anyways, yeah, I felt like, it was like jumping a little bit or something. But anyways, so yeah, you know what I mean? Like, just consider that, and just know that if you're going to be purchasing real estate in Mexico from here forward, from my understanding, that the person that is selling you the real estate is licensed, is is certified, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, they have all their paperwork in order to sell legally. Because the thing is that how it works in Mexico is that if you don't go through a state certified licensed realtor, or national realtor, whatever, you don't go with someone that's, like supposed to sell, then, not only does the realtor get fined, but the seller and the buyer get fined as well. So everybody gets in trouble. All right. So, yeah. So just make sure of that. All right. Travel Girl says, "Hey Jose, it's been a while since I caught your live streams. Did you have an earlier one today?" No, I did not. Again, I was busy today filming. I got family visiting, trying to get ready, to make sure you got your videos ready for next week while I'm gone dealing with family. So, but yeah, that's I've been busy. That's why I'm late today. So my apologies. Um, Let me see. Oh yeah, the church is remarkable. So yes, in the background we're walking around downtown Guadalajara. So basically, that's the main cathedral, and well, you'll see. But we're just walking around the Guadalajara touristy area, right in the downtown area. Mark says, "Is digital ID implemented?" You know what? I actually talked about this very recently, so let's just you know get into. So real quick, you can just go to my YouTube page, and on my YouTube page, just go to videos right there. All right, and I did look right there very recently. I did a digital ID. Oh, sorry, right above my head. You see, I did a video talking about digital ID. All right. Also, live stream. I did a live stream again last week, literally. All right, talking about digital ID. All right, but anyway, short answer is no. Short answer is no. All right. So because in order for them, I was talking about this today on my. Oh, hold on. Let's go back to. There you go. I was talking about this today on my other channel, Jose Unleashed, which I upload Monday through Friday. But I was talking about this, and as I was recording for one of these videos. But anyways, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the digital ID implementation. And basically, long story short, um, in the USA, all those data centers and all that stuff that they're building, it's not to make AI videos. You know what I mean? It's to, basically implement and control that digital ID grid. So yeah, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, Mexico's nowhere near that. They're not building any kind of data centers, for any kind of anything like that. So that on top of, just watch those videos, okay? Watch those videos on my channel and you'll see. But anyways, this is my other channel. If you guys want to know and go deeper, talk about all kinds of things that I can't talk about on this channel, please check out that channel. I would love you very, very muchi. If you guys would love, give me some love over there, maybe give a like, go subscribe, go check it out. Also, since I'm already here, again, check out my website as well. I know a lot of you guys are looking for information on moving to Mexico, and I have all kinds of free information on my website. Again, videos, basically talking about everything. Okay, so here, we'll talk, look just right at the top. You see, videos on how to find the place to rent, how to find the job, 20 of the most asked questions, banking solution, apostle, learning Spanish, and so on and so forth. All right. Getting a home loan, getting a loan for a home here in Mexico, residency options, how to get your dual citizenship, and so on and so forth. You can also go to Merida, Yucatan, helpful information, and you can get in contact with, Alejandra, for example, and she can help you pick you up at the airport, translate something at the whatever, take you to the hospital, to the doctor, find you a rental, whatever you need. Also Jose Novelo, as you know, we work together in a sense of like making videos, informational videos, talking about immigration, talking about laws, talking about taxes, talking about homes, talking about real estate, talking about whatever you need, so go check all that. So just please, I got all kinds of free information on my website, and check it out. All right. So all the links are down below. All right. But let's get back to the show. All right. Sorry. It's shameless plug. Oh, you know what? Let me rewind a little bit since I was talking all that. Wow. All right. So okay. So oh, thank you, thank you. Nancy, you love the rentals I got on the channel. I got more coming. We got some more coming. We got some. If you like those, wait till you see the ones we got coming. All right. I don't want to spoil it. All right. But we got some in El Centro. Just wait. We got some good ones. So coming up real soon. Okay. So stay tuned for those. But anywho's, I'm really happy and glad that you guys are enjoying those. And so yeah, so at the beginning of the year, believe it or not, you know what I mean? Like it was funny because, I had a motto, I had a kind of like a thing that I wanted to accomplish at the beginning of the year, which was no viewer left behind. And I've talked about that, throughout the whole year. I can't believe we're already a quarter of the way through. Oh my God, time flies. But anyways, something that I've been really focusing on throughout the whole year was, again, no viewer left behind. And that's, again, not only, reinforcing, the whole system that I got, everything that you need, all the help that you're ever going to need. But on top of that, just giving you guys even more useful videos with more useful information, and just, again, making it as easy as possible. Again, it's already a difficult enough situation, which is moving to another country and assimilating to another country, and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, what I'm trying to do here is just trying to make it as easy as possible for you guys to come enjoy, paradise, or at least as close as you can get to it, all things considered, with everything going on in the USA at the moment and in the world, because out here, again, it's just business as usual. Of course, things happen, life happens, but it's a completely different, situation living out here as opposed to living in the USA, and especially as things are going. So I know more and more you guys need the information. And the thing is that, why did I start doing all this to begin with? Again, because I moved out here, with only $1,500 left to my name. I didn't have anything, and I had to figure it all out. And well, I've basically documented and learned along the way, and passing the information on to you guys. And that's it. You know what I mean? Like, this is as simple as that. But anyway, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm here to answer your questions. How do the locals feel about many foreigners? Well, that's a great question. All I can say is that very similar to how they feel about foreigners in other countries. Now, out here in Mexico, they're very, very, very friendly, and they're very friendly to foreigners. They're very friendly to all kinds of people. But yeah, obviously, these days, you know what I mean, with so many more foreigners coming, with the tensions in the world, out there, you're going to find that there's going to be a few people here and there that are just not going to be, too happy or too kind or too whatever. But look, the reality is that look, money talks, okay? And most Mexicans are fully aware that the influx of immigrants coming into Mexico, all that means is more money for everybody. All right, because obviously that means that there's more. They're going to be have to build more houses. They're going to have more services. They know that us Americans, are better tippers. We treat them better. We're great consumers. We come from a consumer heavy. So look, long story short, the majority of Mexicans, not only do they see dollar signs. I mean, again, not that they're price gouging, not that they're gringo pricing. No, no, no. Just the fact that hey, there's people that want to live here and want to spend our money here. So let's give them tacos. Let's give them whatever the hell it is that they want and they need. Again, it's not just Americans, it's people from all over the world moving out here. Also, to the region where I live in particular, which is Merida, Yucatan, there's people from all over Mexico moving here as well. So, Mexico's seeing a giant boom, a giant growth. It's only gonna continue as time goes on with everything happening in the world. And yeah, that's the reality. Also, another thing too that I'm always pleasantly surprised whenever I'm around, just Mexico, just around the city, or just around, my life in general, is how many Mexicans, are basically, they love American culture, they embrace American culture, they love what I mean? They love to what is it? Interact with Americans, interact and talk about baseball, talk about life, talk about whatever. The thing is, look, it's up to you. If you are nice, if you are friendly, if you are also curious, also trying to speak the language, whatever it is. If you're nice, they're amazing, they're great, they're wonderful. Again, you obviously what I mean. You're gonna find people that are they're just not going to like you because they're not going to like you. It is what it is. It's everywhere on the planet. But the majority, they're nice. They're going to like you. They're very inquisitive. They're very curious. They want to know more. Just like you want to know more. So that's the thing. It's really up to you. It really has a lot more to do with you than it has to do with them. Mexico as a whole is amazing. They're friendly. They're welcoming. They can separate at this point especially. They can separate the politics. From the people. Meaning that hey, if you're out here, they know fully well why you're out here because you're escaping the USA, the government, the situation over there. So as long as you're not out here, with your MAGA hat, as long as you're not out here, antagonizing Mexicans, as long as you're not out here, acting a fool, you got nothing to worry about. You know what I mean? It's as simple as that. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's the thing. It's really up to you and how you behave. You know what I mean? That's it. If you're a good person, you got nothing to worry about. You know what I mean? Like the people, like I said, it's yeah, yeah, no, it's not what you think. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. That's the reality of it. So I got, you know, to me, all I see are more Mexicans learning English. Since I've been here, in the 8 years that I've been here, I've seen and realized how much they love and embrace American culture. I mean, probably more than we embrace Mexican culture because in the USA we love tacos, we love Mexican, culture, we love it. But honestly, out here, I feel like they love more American culture than they do, than you. You know what I'm saying? Like they love more American culture than we love Mexican. Like meaning, they watch American TV. I've talked about it many, many times. You know what I mean? They still do. But anyways, they watch American TV programs, movies. They like everything. You know what I mean? Like so much food. A lot of similar food out here. You find Mexicans eat hamburgers and pizza and hot dogs and they love that, you know what I mean? Just as much as they love their tacos, believe it or not. Just like in the USA, you know what I mean? In the USA, you love your tacos and you also love your pizza and your hamburgers and your french fries and your, you know what I'm saying? Your chicken tenders. They love their buffalo chicken wings out here. I'll tell you that. So, boneless chicken wings or whatever. So like, I mean, come on. So, it is what it is. Uh, D Bank says, can you give your thoughts on the neighborhood of La Ermita? And maybe have you done a video there? Yes, I've done videos there in the past. I just can't remember them. They're out there, you know what I mean? But I've done them. I've done plenty of videos in the past in the Ermita neighborhood, walking around there. In fact, I think recently I was there, but not there, just doing the art thing that I did. Anyways, It's a great neighborhood. It's a wonderful neighborhood. It's an amazing neighborhood. So it's it's like any other neighborhood in Merida, which are great and wonderful. Very a lot of you're gonna be living with the locals. It's you're living as close. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's amazing, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, I'm sorry. I know. I do know what to tell you. Hold on. Hold on. I gotta get. Anyways.
Bruh.
So with that being said, like yeah, it's a great neighborhood. It's a little gentrified, you know what I mean, but in a good way. It's an old neighborhood. It's an up and coming neighborhood. When they do the Day of the Dead parade every year, that's the end of the parade, that area. So if you want to be what you may call it, if you want that parade, if you want your how to say it, if you want to live right outside, if you want to be in the neighborhood of things like that and events like that and living like really in the city and the culture, like whatever, yeah, that's a great neighborhood. It's an amazing neighborhood. And I mean, I would live there. I got no problem living there. I got friends that live really close by. So yeah, so it's a great neighborhood. I recommend it. You're living with the people, but then it's somewhat gentrified, but also it's like historic, and things like that. Um, But yeah, let me see. I mean, I think I remember the video that I did. Let me see if I can find it since hold on. But let me see. Because I think was it this one? Let's see. And let's check it out.
Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back to another episode. In today's episode, we're gonna be talking about
We walk. Let me see. I'll tell you.
So-
yeah, we're okay. This is a great one. Okay.
don't care and telling you what you can.
The colors are a little off, but whatever. Okay, I'll link it. Okay. There's an old video. I think with an old camera. Sorry about the colors being off. My apologies. But anyways, okay, so I'm gonna put the video in the chat of me walking around La Ermita neighborhood. And I'm talking about living in anarchy, all right, living out here with freedom. So hopefully you guys enjoy that video. You guys can watch that video. It's how old? 3 years ago. Wow. Centro, look at that. 3 years ago, November 2022. Look at that. November 2022. Time flies. Time flies when you're having fun. Wow, that's a long time ago. It feels like a long time ago. Anyways, so there you go. That's a video of me walking around La Ermita. But yeah, I mean, I got a bunch of videos walking around La Ermita. It's just that's the one that I just remember for whatever reason. I don't know why. Um, Oh, that's a great question. The 8 years that I've been here. By the way, I haven't been here 8 years yet. Like in June, it's 8 years, so almost 8 years. But anyways, in the 8 years that I've been here, how much change did I experience, and how was it, and how isn't it? Well, okay, so I've seen a lot of change happen throughout, Mexico, in the 8 years that I've been here. But here locally, where I live in Merida, by the way, I'm walking around Guadalajara, another city, all right? But just for context, for anyone watching, all right? But anyways, here, I've seen a lot of change. And I've talked about it. Again, I talked about it in some recent videos. So check out some of my recent videos. Okay. Here. Again, right there, recent videos. All right, it's right there somewhere. I don't know, where was it? I think my honest review, there it is, 7 years. That one right up top. So that's one of the videos. But I've talked about it before. But yeah, long story short, it's been a lot of changes, and I've talked about it. I feel like I've talked about it. Maybe I should talk about it more. I don't know. But yeah, it's changed a lot. You know what I mean? We've gotten a better bus system. The infrastructure's getting better, like we're getting the roads are getting paved, meaning there's less potholes. There's better electricity, there's a lot of how do I say this, improvements, but at the same time also a lot of things that have changed where we, obviously there's more people moving here, more foreigners moving here, not just people like us, but Mexicans from Mexico, a lot of Mexicans from other parts. Again, when people complain about, oh, those prices and, the videos that you show, Jose, are so expensive. Listen, man, I got no control over inflation. I got no control over all the things that are going on in the world. All right. So long story short, a lot of Mexicans, and by the way, no one cares whether you can afford to buy these homes or not, because the majority of the people buying the homes that we show in the videos are Mexicans. It's other Mexicans. Like I would say Americans and Canadians, maybe like 10%, you know, of the real buy. So anyway, so the boom is alive and well. And it's because, Mexicans that are living in Guadalajara, living in Mexico City, living in Monterrey, living in so many parts, they're getting priced out of where they're at. And so they're basically just like, same thing in the USA. So they're getting gentrified. Again, the people that are complaining in Mexico City, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I can't live in the Roma and Condesa and those fancy neighborhoods. Those are fancy neighborhoods. And now they're fancier. Okay. And so obviously foreigners are coming in and they're living there. All right. And they're pushing out. But again, they're pushing out the people that used to live there, but many of them, have a fat stack in their pocket, and they want to go spend that fat stack somewhere where it's gonna, go further. So they'll move to Merida, or they'll move to other areas like that. So that's why Merida's booming, because trust me. I mean, again, there's tons of Mexicans out there that have the money to come out here and pay for these homes and pay for this lifestyle and live out here, and so on and so forth. So you're seeing a lot of that. In fact, I mean, well, I was gonna. I don't know. Do you guys want to see Merida in the background instead of Guadalajara? But either way, everything's nice. Everything's fancy. There's Mexicans moving to Guadalajara, moving to Mexico City. There's Americans and Europe and foreigners moving to these cities as well. A lot of people from all over the world are moving to Mexico. So yeah, that's the thing. And so the reality is that I don't even know what I was saying about the. Oh yeah, so a lot of changes. So especially here in Merida, the changes have been gentrification. Obviously some good, some bad. But yeah, a lot of change. But to me, all positive. Look, the majority of the change has been positive, and I've been here the 8 years, and not only is there gonna not only has there been a lot of change in 8 years, but there's gonna be even more change in the next 8 years. And because it's just simply, it just happened. It's just growing. Look, I'm originally from Miami, Florida, and I was born in 1981, and literally Florida has not stopped growing since I was born. It's still not. It's still growing. And who's the majority of the people moving to Florida? It's Americans. Okay. So look, long story short, it's a similar thing happening in this region. Where this region, again, in 30 years, 40 years, it might be like, again, a Miami, or, not a Miami, but Florida. You know what I mean? This whole region. Because you got to remember, it's not just Merida, it's Cancun, Campeche. It's like all this region. So this region's it's just blowing up. I mean, people want to move out here. Just like people want to move to Florida, have been wanting to move to Florida for a long time. So this whole region out here is Mexico's Florida. Yeah, so it's just gonna continue booming and growing, and for the foreseeable future, that's for sure. So I know someone else asked me a question. I think Soulflower says, "My father was born in the Yucatan in 1933." Wow, that's crazy. That's a long time ago. Wow. And my grandpa in 1853. Wow, that's amazing. Wow, that's cool. Hold on, we need a special. I really love to move there. Does having a family member like this make it chances easier to move? Yeah, of course. Of course it would. Why wouldn't it? I mean, if you again, first of all, it can help you with getting your citizenship, because every other person, me and everyone, the majority of people watching these videos, they're Americans, Canadians, whatever, and they have to get residency, and it's like a whole process. It's a more difficult process. But for you, assuming that you can prove that one of your father, yeah, your father, yeah, you said, yeah, as long as you can prove that your father is your father, he's on your birth certificate, you're good to go. You should be able to get your citizenship like that. I mean, it's a process, all right. In fact, if you want to know how to do that process, again, you can just simply come to my website real quick. Go to my website, and then right there, moving to Mexico, general information, click there, and then just make your way, scroll down, make your way down, all the way right there. See how to get your Mexican citizenship. All right. So I'll share that with you. so you know, make it easier for you. All right. But anyways, I go step by step. You know, that's my Mexican friend, and he did it. Okay, so he, you know, helps us. And it's a short video, but basically I tell you what you need, okay, and all that stuff, you know, and you're good to go. So just watch that video for more information. That's the link that I posted in the chat. But either way, it's on my website. Okay. Hopefully that'll help you out. Let's get back to walking around Guadalajara. Let me see. David Rogers says it's hot. Yeah, it's hot. It's gonna be, yeah, this whole week is, yeah, finally, you know, finally we're gonna get 100 degrees. By the way, it should have been 100 degrees since March. You know, we've dodged the bullet this year for whatever reason. We've been having very nice weather, you know, this whole time. But yeah, finally, you know, today we were outside. Oh my God, it was so hot. And this whole week coming up, that I got my family visiting, it's going to be 100 and in the hundreds, you know. So yeah, it's going to be hot. You know, hopefully they want to go to the beach. So we'll see. All right. Is Merida weather like Monterrey weather? No, it's different. Monterrey is the desert, and Merida is like Florida weather. Merida is more like Miami weather. You know, Florida, you know, Caribbean weather. It's the jungle. You know, we got the beach. You know, it's very different than Monterrey weather. I mean, again, I don't know. I've never been to Monterrey, but you know, I'm just guessing. I would say it's totally different. So, pop, 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 pop. Yeah, because where I live in Merida, Yucatan is all the way down south. Again, we're walking. You know what? Since we're talking about so much about Merida, I'm just going to put another video. Oh, sorry. Let's put another video here because. But anyways, guys, you got any questions? Please feel free to ask. We're just talking about. Is the music playing or no? I forgot. I don't know if the music is playing. I know we got music in the background. I hate that radio silence in the background. Let me see. I gotta find some Merida footage here. Anyways, yeah, it's like hard to concentrate on both. Anyways, yeah, but it's very hot out here. I mean, I personally love the hot weather. I'm not gonna lie. So for me, it's you know, it's nice. I don't like the cold weather very much. So I prefer living out here in the hot weather. All right, hold on. All right, we'll do this. This is walking around the center here. This is around Mexican Independence Day, so we're just walking around the town center there. Jose, please help me. Mercy says, please help me. I only make $2,000 a month, so I don't have the required $3,400, and I'm not the $73,000 in savings. How will I be able to move to Mexico? I am an American citizen. Well, again, you know, there are options out there. As I explained, again, you can check out my website where I got videos talking about how you can personally we should check out all the options that you have for residency. So again, you can get married, you can get a work visa, you can what else can you do? Again, if you don't get solvency, what else? There's a few options, man. I forgot. But anyways, look. The point is that I cover them in a video. Thank God. That's why I make these videos, okay? Because since you know, my memory is not so good sometimes. So let me just show you where it's at. Okay. So let's just go to my. Okay. So this is my YouTube page. All right, and right there on my YouTube page, you go to videos right at the top, and you scroll down a little bit, and there it is. Okay, I did a video right here, New Mexican. Okay, you see right up there. Okay, New Mexican residency requirements and so on and so forth. All right. And look, long story short, the reality that a lot of people have to deal with when it comes to moving to Mexico is that, well, now you know what an immigrant feels like. Meaning that I know there's a lot of you know, rhetoric or fake news or whatever it is, you know, talking about the immigration status and situation in the USA and all that stuff. But look, the reality is that my parents are immigrants. I know what it is to be an immigrant. It kind of sucks to be an immigrant. But long story short, it sucks only because it's a pain in the ass to get your papers, to get your residency, blah, blah, blah. All right. So when you're moving to Mexico, unfortunately, well, you're going to have to deal with the residency as well. And so the thing is that thank God that at least Mexico is not as strict as the USA. And there's many options. Like I said, you can simply get married, assuming you want to do that. And you don't have to, jump through all the hoops like you do in the USA. Same thing, you can get a work visa. Again, Jose Novelo explains that more in that video. He goes more into detail as how you can do that. As a process, that you can get and secure your residency. It's going to cost money. The money that it's going to cost is mainly government fees. Again, there's nothing that we can do about it. So just like in the USA. And that's what we're talking about, the new fees, because look, when I first moved here and I was doing my paperwork, it was, relatively expensive for me because I didn't have much. I only came out here with $1,500 to my name. Remember that? I know. I should put that on a t-shirt. By the way, if you guys want to buy a t-shirt, look, I got t-shirts, Gulf of Mexico t-shirts. Okay. And I got a bunch of other t-shirts. You guys can go to my website. All right. On my website, I got a link to the store, and I got a bunch of new shirts. Again, a lot of shirts that you see me wearing all the time, so check them out. I got Mayan alphabet, the alien, the bike, a bunch of other ones. The Gulf of Mexico, blah, blah, blah. Okay, back to what were we doing? I forgot. But anyways, and so I made it happen. Even though it was very difficult, I still made it happen. I was still able to get my residency. Even though I got married, it still cost money. That's the thing too. It's like I got married, but I had to pay for the wedding. I had to pay for this. I had to pay for the paperwork. I had to before I knew it, I was like, So yeah, you know what I mean? So I had to make it happen, and it was not easy for me. And that's the thing too. And so like, if you're gonna, go the work visa route, well, you gotta pay fees. It's gonna cost money. You gotta do this, whatever. If you don't qualify for financial solvency, you know what I mean? Unfortunately, you're gonna have to pay for it another way. So that's the thing. If you can prove, this is, by the way, for anyone that has money or has moved up the ladder, knows what because I have, and I know how it is. One thing you realize when you start making money and you start moving up that ladder is that things get more free. So this is how it works. If you got a lot of money, if you got, again, the threshold that they're looking for, meaning that's a lot of money to some people. But anyways, if you got the threshold that Mexico's looking for or more, okay, basically, you just got to prove that you got that money and they give you residency. But if you do not, if you do not, qualify that way, the meaning that you can't prove that you have that money, then you have to just pay for it out of your pocket. So like whether you get married, whether you this, or that, you're going to be paying a lot of money to get that residency. But you can definitely get the residency. At the end of the day, you can definitely get it. It's not a big deal. Viva Mexico. Why is that like? What is it, like the Iranian flag? What is that? Anyway, shout out to Iran out there. Anyways. Bruh. That is not the Mexican flag. I don't know. But anyways, it's A for effort, JS. Thank you very much, man. Viva Mexico. Hola, Whipple. Everything's going great. Oh, Miss Linda Allen says, we're so impressed with Alejandra and Jose. You put together an excellent team. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you very much for, the words of kindness. A few people have mentioned to me, hey, if I should do like testimonials and things like that. But I don't know, man. I feel like that's so corny, to do like a video just about testimonials, about, you guys out there, saying how happy you are with Jose or Alejandra, because I don't know, every time I see any kind of testimonial thing on TV or whatever, I'm always like, how much they pay them, how much did. So it really means a lot to us. Okay, whenever any one of you guys, leaves a comment or any kind of, what I'm saying, like a chat, comment, whatever it is. Thank you. So we appreciate that. And I know a lot of you guys do that, so thank you. And that's it. So, let's see, another Nancy says, my parents are from Mexico, so it's easier to get Mexican citizenship. Yes, it is. And my husband in Merida, so it's better to get citizenship through parents. or husband. No, well, man, that's funny, Nancy. I don't know. Honestly, I think, okay. So if you're, that's a great question. So you're married to a Mexican. So look, honestly, I think I would assume it would be a lot easier to do it through your husband. Okay? Because for me, oh no, never mind. You want citizenship. I forgot, not residency. Okay, so if you do it through your husband, you're only gonna get residency. But if you do through your parents, you'll get citizenship. Okay? Automatic. So that's the thing. If you go through your parents, then you get automatic citizenship. If you go through your husband, the best they're gonna do is give you residency, and then eventually you qualify for citizenship. Like, I've qualified for citizenship for years already. It's just, I'm a lazy. No, actually, I can't afford it. Going back to the fees, that's a real reason. I can't, the fees, you know what I mean? The fees are a lot, so, but anyways, yeah, you know what I mean? That's the main reason. Yeah, because every time I look into, I gotta do my citizenship, and I look at the fees, I'm like, I gotta save up. So, how about crime, drugs, really bad here in Canada? No. The crime is none. Okay, Merida, Yucatan, where you're watching right now, in Merida, Yucatan, where we're at, is the safest city in all of the Americas. The second safest in all the Americas, the safest in all of Mexico. But yeah, anyways, when you guys are sawing earlier when I walked around Guadalajara, you see me other parts of the Mexico. Yeah, no, crime is, you're gonna see some petty crime just like any other major city with millions of people. But other than that, yeah, no. The crime in the USA is insane. Or Canada. The drug use on the streets is insane. Come on. You guys have like zombies on your streets. You guys, it's a different animal. You don't see anything like that here. In fact, if you ever venture into any kind of neighborhood, where you see, something like that here in Mexico, just turn around. You're definitely in the wrong area, all right? Because it's very rare out here for any one of us to encounter anything like that. I'm not saying it doesn't exist and it's not out there, but it is not as prevalent or as common as the things you're going to find in the USA and Canada these days, all right? So, yeah, no, you'll be fine. How much are the fees for the citizenship? I explained it in that video about residency, okay? Literally, that video that we did about residency has all the current fees, okay? And a link to get the fees, okay? So everything is, everything's there. So just check out that video, all right? Let me see, any questions? You guys have any questions? You guys have a lot of questions today. That's great. By the way, if you got any more questions, please ask. I'm trying to find questions, but if I miss your questions, you can go for it and ask me. How much is the 8 fees? I don't know. Yeah, so anyways, the late fees. I don't know. But again, hold on. Let me I'll get you a link to all the fees. 1 second. Since a lot of you guys want to know the fees alone. Where's the link to the... Did I put the link to the fees? Oh, yeah. Here's the link to all the fees. Okay, so click there. In the chat, I put the link. Okay, and that link will take you to the fees, okay? So that'll, I mean, you gotta zoom in, whatever. Anyways, but all the fees for everything is there, okay? So you can check that out at your leisure. You're welcome. So let me see. But yeah, anyways, living out here, that's another thing too. I'm glad you guys brought that up about safety. Like, again, it's funny because I've traveled, to many cities in Mexico. Oh, you love the background music? Okay, great, awesome, thank you. Okay, so again, I've lived here in Merida the whole time that I've been here, but I've traveled to Mexico City, I've traveled to Guadalajara, I've been on mass transit, I've been, you know me, you guys have seen my videos, I walk around whatever neighborhoods, whatever. Anyways, I show you, and I've been not just to the touristy areas, right? And I'm telling you, compared to back home, compared to the US, man, it is so much safer. Obviously, especially if you're in a major city, Mexico City. You want to ride the subway. Come on. You use, common sense. Use situational awareness. Just don't make yourself a target for someone to pickpocket you. But at no point is someone going to put a gun to your face and say, give me your money, give me your whatever. No, there's nothing like that's going to happen. Most crime is going to be, crimes of opportunity. You got a bicycle and you don't tie it up, they're going to take it probably. Again, in certain neighborhoods, not everywhere. All right. Many places you can leave your bike unattended. All right. So I do that sometimes and I shouldn't do that. Okay. But long story short, that's how safe it is here. But again, if you're in Guadalajara, you definitely want to tie it up. All right. Again, if you're walking at night or you're walking in certain bad neighborhoods or downtown and there's no one around and it's really dark and maybe somebody shows up and they want to rob you, it's not going to be a gun. It might not even be a knife, and they just want your phone, they just want your whatever, your wallet or your money, whatever, assuming that even happens. But it's most of the time it's going to be just pickpocketing, just crimes of opportunity, things like that. And for example, just the same caution and the same situation awareness, the same thing that you would do in the USA, especially if you're from a major city, just do them here. Lock your doors, just common sense. You know what to do. You got double Jose on screen here, the deer. But that's it. But I don't know. But other than that, that's it. It's not like the USA, where in the USA you gotta have a gun or you gotta always watch out, for anyone and anything. A bum could assault you. Someone could pull out a gun on you just because they don't like your face. A cop, can beat the living crap out of you just because, you have a broken taillights and now they're gonna break your face. Come on, man. Nothing like that here, man. Nowhere like that here. Again, there are little spots, where you're never gonna travel to, where the Mexicans, don't get along with the police, and there might be cartel situation. Come on, yes, of course, there are situations. I don't like speaking in totalities or what have you, saying, oh, it's always safe, it's always whatever. But no, again, 95%, of the places you're gonna be in, you're gonna be fine. All right, 100%, 99%. You're not gonna go anywhere, too crazy. And by the way, I watch all kinds of videos. I've seen people that live out here in Mexico that are American or whatever, and they live in the hood because they married somebody from Mexico and they moved out here when they're very young, but they're very they're American, and they've been interviewed and things that I've seen and shit and things like that. And look, long story short, even the crime that they encounter, compared to the things that we've encountered already back home in the USA or encounter right now, it's nothing. So yeah, I don't know, man. I think a lot of the danger that Mexico has is overplayed. Obviously, there's a lot of murders and a lot of this and a lot of that, but that's all cartel violence. It's all cartel on cartel violence. It's not, obviously, some citizens get affected. Again, if you're a Mexican citizen in certain areas, yes, yeah, no bueno. But it's not all of Mexico. Mexico's a huge country. Mexico's like half the size of the USA or more. You know what I mean? It's big. All right, so. All right, JS is asking me, Jose, the U.S. Credit Bureau must now include rent and utility payments in calculating credit scores. Oh, wow, that's terrible. Which will make it even more impossible for young folk who work and struggle to buy a home. Yeah, no crap. Not just buy a home, rent a home. Back when I left, that's why another reason I couldn't get a rental is because I was not going to pass a credit check. I definitely wouldn't pass it now either. So that's terrible. That's terrible. So yeah, again, more reason. Again, by the way, remember, guys, I live all the way out here in Merida, Yucatan. I'm all the way far south. I'm closer to Guatemala than I am to the USA. But it does not mean that there's people moving to all over Mexico. Just some people are moving here. A lot of people are moving to other parts of Mexico. A lot of people are just simply crossing the border and living on the other side of the border. So I feel that, or I think that as things keep getting worse and more insane out there. I think more and more people are just going to simply hop the border and live on the other side of the border, whether it's Tijuana or Mexicali or Juarez or whatever, all these cities out there. So yeah, we'll see. We're definitely going to be seeing some changes, coming up, because again, does anyone really believe out there that things are going to get better in the USA anytime soon? That's just the reality of it. In fact, I'll take a poll. Let me see. Let's take a poll. How do we do the poll here? All right. Take a quick poll. Do you think? All right. Oh, what did I do? All right, let's see. Let's start the poll there, and let's see what you guys have to say. All right, here. So, let's see. Let's do the poll, guys. By the way, if you guys have any questions, let me know now, because I'm only gonna be around for like another 10-15 minutes, right? Because I gotta cut it short. Again, I got my mom and friends visiting on Saturday, and they're gonna be here all week. And me and Christian are doing the final touches. We gotta clean the house. You know how it is. You got mom. For Christian, she has the mother-in-law coming in. My mom's great, but you know how it is. So we gotta get the house clean. Plus, we got to gotta make sure where it's nice and clean and set up and organized for we got visitors and mom coming. But anyway, so we're working on that. Plus, I'm working on tons of videos for you guys. In fact, I have like 5 videos that I gotta record. I'm sorry, 4 videos that I gotta edit. So I still got, like, once I'm done here, I gotta go back to editing. Yeah, so I've been recording, editing, and all that stuff, and I only got a day and a half left. So wish me luck, guys, because I want to get everything done so that way I can just hang out with family and friends while you guys are still, getting your daily uploads or whatever. You're getting your video uploads on the channel and all that stuff. Again, by the way, programming note, since I got you guys here, I am not going to be around on Thursday. Okay, next Thursday, no live stream. I am gonna upload a video, so just don't worry about it. You're still gonna have something to watch, all right? I'm gonna be entertaining you guys, all right, one way or the other. But just no live stream, just a regular upload, and I'll be back the following week, all right? Oh, by the way, look, we got 6-7 people watching. So shout out to 6-7 people watching out there. So we got 15 votes, and all 15 of you guys say no. Things are not going to get any better. Yeah, you can add my vote to that. I can't vote in my own poll, but... So that's the thing, guys. I mean, at the end of the day, and if you're asking me, or you ask a lot of Mexicans, the typical Mexican, with all things happening, all things considered, do you really see Mexico getting worse or getting better? And, I've been here 8 years. I've only seen things getting better. I think a lot of Mexicans would agree things are getting better. But look, I'm going to tell you straight up, there are Mexicans that do say that it's not getting better. But, again, at least from my perspective and a lot of the perspective of a lot of Mexicans that I know, it is getting better. So it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious. Again, we talk about it more on my other channel. I talk about it in depth in other videos and live streams as to why I think it's just going to keep getting better and better. So again, it's just going to be benefiting. Look, right now, just look at it like this. With everything going on over there with the Strait of Hormuz situation and other things, all right, they're happening in other parts of the world, other choke points when it pertains to like moving oil and goods around the world. Mexico has recently, created their own choke point in a sense. They created their own Panama Canal, which some of you guys are fully aware of because we talked about that in videos past, as to how Mexico is basically, they're taking advantage of everything going on at the moment. And let me see, where do I have? Let me see if I can find that thing so I can show you. But anyway, so I can show you the map. But yeah, so things are changing. Things are moving in a positive direction out here in Mexico. And as things get, unfortunately, the reality is that as things get worse in the USA, in Canada, and around the world, they're only going to get better here because Mexico has everything to gain from all the insanity. I mean, because everyone wants to find safety. All right, there we go. I found it. Everybody is looking for safety. Everybody's looking for, a better economy, better quality of life, looking for all kinds of things. And they're just not going to, they're not finding it, you're not finding it in the US or Canada or many parts of Europe or anything like that. And it's funny because I watch, YouTubers from all over the world, and there's people in, Germans in Germany, leaving Germany, moving to other parts of the world or traveling or whatever. So yeah, it's it's not just. So anyways, so I did this video a while ago going into in depth about this and the economy and things like that. And obviously, as the months have gone on, I think this is like a year old or less, maybe 8 months old when I talked about this. Things have changed. It's only, gotten better and more expanded more or whatever, So long story short, as you guys see there, you know what I mean? That's a corridor, that is going to basically cut through Mexico, and it's going to act like a Panama Canal. You know what I mean? And so that's also going to be helping with movement of shipping and all this stuff. Also, China and other countries have built factories, building factories in Mexico. The USA building more factories in Mexico. The nearshoring. There's just so much. Right now, again, World War III really happens. There's going to be a need for food. There's going to be a need for goods. There's going to be a need for supplies. How do I say this? Minerals and whatever, all kinds of things, right? Well, Mexico has all that, I mean? So that's the thing, I mean? We're gonna see, it's gonna be definitely an interesting time, that's for sure. So hopefully you guys can still hear me out there. Sorry, so we got 24 votes and everybody says no. We got one person saying yes, I think. I don't know how many people voted for yes. I think that would be one person, right? But anyways, yeah, interesting times, that's for sure. Can I speak on importing vehicles? It's so damn expensive for cars 5 years old and a similar. I have a big dog. Yeah, I mean, most people just don't import the car. Most people just end up either bringing the car and then driving the car out here until they become a permanent resident. And then once they become a permanent resident, they get rid of the car. Or they end up just selling the car and buying a new car here. It's just not worth it to import a car for most people. So they just don't do it. So you got to figure out what works best for you. I mean, I don't know what you want me to say. I mean, there's nothing really I can say. It's just that it is what it is. It seems like you've already investigated it enough. Let me see. Whipple says a friend in high school was born in Mexico and he came to the USA as a little kid. He got in some trouble in the USA and went back to Mexico. Now he has a federal job. That's awesome. It's great. I've heard of a lot of success stories of a lot of Mexicans that have been deported from the USA and they're doing amazing out here. So that's right. The US is the last place you want to be during World War III. That's for sure. So better get out now while you still can. So Keith Hannah says, finally getting my house listed after 2 weeks, planning, going out, leaving Canada. Big shout out to the Brain Dead Elbows crowd. Anyways, Viva Mexico. Viva Mexico. Mark says, Jose, what makes you different from the competitors? What do you mean? I don't know. I got no, what competitors? I don't know what you... I got no competitors. Again, Mark, I see you and others pushing to move here. Look, man, I've been living out here for 8 years. Everything's online. You know what I mean? You can see all my channels. I got multiple channels. From the minute I've been living here, from the minute I moved here, I've been talking about why you need to leave. Okay? Some people call me conspiracy theorist. Some people call me crazy. These people, they just call me right. These days, people just call me right. And even though I can't get my words right. But anyway, the point is that I've been telling people from a long time ago, hey, listen, the USA is going to fall. Things are not going to be good. Yada, yada, yada. And nobody listened. People just thought it was nuts, crazy, whatever. You know what I mean? Hey, look at this guy living in Mexico talking about whatever. Again, who the hell was moving out here 8 years ago, right? So with that being said, as things got crazier, well, my message, started to make a lot more sense, especially during COVID, especially after that, especially now. So I'm not pushing nothing. You know what I mean? Like at this point, like all I do is just basically tell people, show people there's an alternative out there. You know what I mean? For anyone that wants to get the hell out of where they're at, they finally figured it out, just like I did years ago. And that's it. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you know what I mean? Like, I think most people these days are fully aware things are no bueno. You know, things kind of suck in the USA, and they're only going to keep sucking even more, you know, in Canada and everywhere else. And so that's it. You know, at this point, people are just like, they're cashing in their chips in the casino. You know, they're done playing the game. And, you know, the people that can, you know, figure out a way to get out, well, then here it is. You know, this is one option. There are tons of people all over. You know, I got friends in Paraguay. I've interviewed him, Ryan, living in Paraguay. Some people want to move to Paraguay. Some people want to move to other Uruguay. Some people want to move to other parts. You know, like people are like, oh, Mexico sucks. You know, why do you move to El Salvador? Listen, I don't care. You know, that's not the point of this channel. Like, again, look, this channel is me living in Mexico, blah, 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 whatever. But look, the point of everything I've been doing for years, and again, this is why I got my other channel. By the way, I have my fat face here. Might as well put my other channel up, right? Anyways, the point of my other channel and the point of my message for a very long time out here has been simply the fact that, hey, listen, man. You know what I mean? Like, I forgot what was my train of thought. I lost my train of thought. What was it? Oh, yeah. It was basically, you know, things are gonna get from bad to worse, and you need to figure out a way, you know what I mean? A solution, you know, to get out of Dodge. It doesn't have to be Mexico. You know, it could be anywhere. I don't care. You know, people tell me, it's like, oh, well, Thailand is better. Go to Thailand. You know what I mean? Go wherever, anywhere but where you're at. You know what I mean? That's basically the message. I'm really just trying to whatever. Now, again, on my Mexico channel, living in Mexico, I happen to live here, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. So, you know, obviously, you know, I got a lot of useful information, you know, on moving out here. And I share it with everybody. And again, I came out here with nothing. So long story short, you know what I mean? Like, I know there's a lot of people out there, again, these days more than ever, they got nothing. All right. Just a hope and a prayer, maybe a few bucks in their pocket. And there's a way. Again, it's going to take a lot of hard work and effort. It's not going to be easy. You might need a job. You know, you might need this, you might need what. Listen, and I got you covered. Why? Because I had to figure it out. I had to, you know, I had a story. That's all it is. And so I've just been sharing my story, my adventure, my journey. And on this particular channel, I just show people the way. Again, it's not for everybody. You know, not everybody wants to put in the work. Not everybody wants to go through this process. Some people would rather just sit on their couch comfortably in the USA and just deal with the whatever's coming. But not everybody. You know, some people out there, you know, they love, damn, I don't know who sings it. There are survivors, you know, they're out there. I'm a survivor. So anyway, there's people out there that they want to survive, and they don't like the way things are looking, and they're looking for a way out. And that's it. And so again, this is not only why I provide more information here for free. Everything I do is free. All right. Because again, I know there's going to be a lot of people that are just going to need that information, and they can't afford to pay nothing for no one. So, but again, for people out there, you know, that want to save some time, you don't want to look through all my videos to get all the information. You don't want to dig through my website. You don't want to listen. There's no problem. Set up a consultation. Again, go to my website. Just set up a one-on-one consultation. We can talk, answer all your questions. I got you. Don't worry about it. Again, no viewer left behind. But again, I mean, sometimes I have consultations. It's not people that not necessarily want to move to Mexico, just trying to get out. That's the thing. It's like, and so that's the thing. And so I've through my years doing this, I know people living in other parts of the world, and you know, for some people that want to move elsewhere, hey, listen, it's okay. Mexico's not for everybody. I understand. I totally get it. All right, but you know, for a lot of people, come on. You know, Mexico's awesome. You know, we love tacos. We love the culture. I can go on and on. So it's a no-brainer. And especially these days that we know more about the real Mexico instead of just, you know, going off of propaganda and going off of all this other stuff. So that's all this channel's about. It's just anyone that, you know, for anyone that has no resources, well, I give them the resources. All I ask is to leave a like, you know, watch the video, you know, watch an ad. That's it. You know, I don't ask for much. All right. You don't even have to do that. All right. But whatever. but so I get something obviously from that. I get like, I don't know, 10 cents, 5 cents, from an ad. I don't know. But hey, if that's all you can give me, that's totally fine. No problem. You know what I mean? Like, but there's tons of people out there that can, for example, buy a t-shirt. Some of you guys, want to support the show and say, hey, you know what? I would love that t-shirt, or one of the t-shirts he wears on the thing. I'll buy that t-shirt to help support the show. And by helping support the show, you're not just supporting me and my horse. Again, look at the amazing life I get to live out here. I'm an equestrian, for crying out loud. I got a horse. I'm disabled. I don't even have any legs. Hey, listen. It's not what we're talking about. The point is that I got a better life out here. And for a lot of people out there that have, that live in the USA, have lived in the USA, worked to the bone, had enough with the system, had enough with being chewed up, and sick and tired of being sick and tired. Listen, I know. I've been there, done that, and I'm here to help. And that's all it is. You know what I mean? Again, all I can do is show you the way. I can't do anything else for you, all right? Now, again, if you got some resources, let's say you can pay for an assistant. I got Alejandra to pick you up at the airport, translate this and that for you, get you a rental, whatever it is. If you speak Spanish, you can probably do everything on your own. And I can go on and on, you know what I mean? Like, hey, I got help for everybody here, and that's all it is. But at the end of the day, the one thing that I talk about on all my channels is that you can only help yourself. You know what I mean? Help me, help you, all right? And that's what I do. So I'm not pushing anything. I'm pushing freedom. Again, if you watch my channel enough, or anyone watching my channel, is I push freedom. By the way, I love when people ask me these questions, and I get to answer it, because I really get to answer it, because there's a lot of new people that don't know me, don't know my channel, don't know anything, and so there's a great way for me to do this. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you. Thank you very much. I forgot who was asking me that. But yeah, I'm not pushing anything. I mean, I know, look, again, if you guys know me long enough, when I first started doing these videos, there was only 2 or 3 other YouTubers out there. It was Tangerine Travels. They don't exist anymore. The Kinetic Keenans, they're on and off. Shout out to them. I love them. But that's it. It was just them, and then just a few retirees and nothing else. So I started making videos, and I started publishing videos. Now, the fact that 8 years later, you know what I mean, there's 7 million, YouTubers doing the same thing I'm doing and doing my style. Nothing I can do about that. You know what I mean? Nothing I can do about that. And the fact that everybody's, maybe, like you said, pushing what I don't know, what am I pushing? Freedom, So that's a great t-shirt idea, JS. I appreciate that. In fact, I'm going to write that down. I got to write that one down. Anyways, t-shirt. Yeah. Anyways, any questions before I get out of here? Sorry, radio silence. I can't do multiple things at once. Okay, all right. But yeah, that's the thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's as simple as that. You know what I mean? And so, I just push freedom, and I help people. I love to help people, and yes, you know what I mean? Like, if by helping people, I get views, I get attention, I get, okay, great, whatever. Why is that a bad thing? You know what I mean? Like, but again, I talk about being a responsible immigrant, because my parents were immigrants in the USA. I dealt with that. I mean, even though I'm an American-born citizen, some parts of the USA will treat me like an immigrant. I'll probably get arrested by ICE. All right. So I don't want to hear it. All right. So yeah, I talk about that. I talk about, different points of view out here. I'm not just like telling you like, how you can retire in Mexico. No, I'm telling you how you can, really live your life out here in Mexico, and act accordingly and stuff, and so on and so forth. Like, at the end of the day, Mexico's amazing. The people are amazing. The culture, amazing. Everything is amazing. And the only thing that you need to do in order to enjoy all that and again have an amazing time out here in Mexico is just be a good human, man. I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? And if that's too much of a price of admission, stay in the USA. All right? It is what it is. But either way, I love all of you guys. I appreciate all of you guys. And thank you for that t-shirt idea. I appreciate that. That's a great one. I see Travel Girl has to go. I gotta go too. And that's it. You know what I mean? I'm glad that I was able to answer your questions and share with you guys. And again, guys, please, check out the rest of the channel. Again, check out my other channel. Please, if you loved my content, if you love everything I have to say, and you really want to go deep, and you're not afraid of, getting your feelings hurt or whatever it is, check out my channel Unleashed, okay? Seriously, you really want to show me some love today? Go subscribe over there. Go watch a few videos over there. I would love you very much. So that would be awesome. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I got nothing else here. Except, yeah, again, you want to buy a t-shirt. Again, I got a bunch of awesome t-shirts. Check out the website. On my website, tons of amazing, useful, free information. Free. Everything's free o'clock. I don't sell no packages. I don't sell no nothing. I just sell my time. All right, that's all I do. That's it. And I make videos. And I sell stupid t-shirts. That's it. All right. So I think that's it, guys. From one immigrant to another future immigrant. So from one immigrant to another. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Thank you so much for, again, all the love. You already know how I'm grateful and happy I am that, again, not only that I can help you guys out, but again, the fact that you guys actually enjoy, watching me and my channel. So again, it's amazing. It's an amazing feeling to be able to be out here to help you out so much. And again, vice versa. Again, I've learned a lot from you guys as much as you guys have learned from me. And it's been an amazing ride. And man, we're only getting started, as you guys know. So with that being said, I am not going to be here next Thursday, as I already told you guys like multiple times, but just in case, no one's, because again, I got my family visiting this week, but again, I got a video Sunday, video Tuesday, video on Thursday. So again, even though no live stream, there's going to be a video upload. And again, just videos until I get back next week. You won't even know I missed you. You won't even know I missed the beat. All right. In fact, I'll see you in 2 weeks. I'm just taking 1 week off live streaming, and I'll be back the following weekend. You won't even know I was gone. So, all right, Nancy, I appreciate you. What she says, all blessings to you. And no, that's not my wife. Alejandra is not my wife. Okay, my wife is the person I got the picture with. Alejandra is my assistant. She's married to somebody else. She has kids. Okay, she's our, she's our assistant. Okay, my wife is not there. This is, I'll show you my wife. So you see where it says up there, Christian's artwork? That's my wife. She paints. She's an artiste. Okay? So, that's her artwork. If you ever want to check it out. Alright. That's my wife. My wifey. So, speaking of which, I got to get back to work. My wifey is waiting for me. Alright, guys. Yes, more rentals coming for sure. More homes coming. We got a lot of homes. In fact, we got a lot of homes coming. Those are mainly the videos you're going to be watching in my absence. Okay? So... I'm glad you like them. So don't worry, you're going to have a lot of home videos coming up. All right. Anyways, guys, I love you. I appreciate you. See you guys real soon. See you guys when I get back. Have a wonderful, wonderful time. Thanks again for all the love, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.